Hi, Miss Zoe here, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of a dinosaur museum. This is Morrill Hall, otherwise known as the University of Nebraska State Museum. And this right here is Archie. We'll be seeing more of Archie later. So come with me and let's find some dinosaurs. Welcome to the Mesozoic Gallery. This was the time of the dinosaurs. Now, did you know that when the dinosaurs walked the earth, Nebraska was underwater? We have fossils of lots of different sea creatures, like this giant mosasaur that's on the ceiling of the Mesozoic Gallery in Morrill Hall. Now, we've also got fossil fish, and my favorite, the plesiosaur neck. Now, this neck is so long that it goes across the entire floor of the room. Don't worry though, it's under protective glass. Look at those teeth. Plesiosaur is one of my favorite dinosaurs. And here we have a flying reptile. And you guys learned about the pterodactyl earlier this week. And here's a really cool one, the Chasmosaurus. As you can see, it's got a crest kind of like a triceratops, but it only has the one horn here. Now this giant dinosaur ate only plants. Can you believe that plants could fuel such a huge, beautiful animal? Dinosaurs are huge, but exactly how big were they? Well, this here is the leg bone of an Apatosaurus, which is a long-necked dinosaur. This leg bone would correspond to this upper part of its leg. Now, let's compare it to me. If I stand right next to it, it's still even taller than I am, and this is just its leg. Can you imagine how absolutely ginormous these dinosaurs were? Let's check out some others. Here we've got a Stegosaurus. You probably recognize it for the plates on its back there. The Stegosaurus was an herbivore, and the plates may have served to scare off other larger dinosaurs that might try to eat it. Now, you might be wondering, what could want to eat a Stegosaurus? Well, perhaps an Allosaurus. An Allosaurus is a smaller cousin of the Tyrannosaurus rex, but that doesn't mean it's any less scary. It's got sharp teeth, huge claws. Those legs, it probably could run pretty fast. Here's a model that was built of what an Allosaurus might have looked like when it was alive. And here we have a baby Allosaurus. Here we have an example of an archaeological dig site. You can see here the Triceratops skull that's still partially buried in the ground. Now, paleontologists use all kinds of tools. You can see a shovel and a pickaxe used to move dirt. When you get to the finer details, use a brush like this. Now, lots of times a fossil is removed from the site still encased in the dirt that was around it, like this. Then they're wrapped in plaster to protect them where they're moved to a museum. At the museum or other research site, the plaster will be taken off, and in a lab, a scientist will very carefully remove the fossil and clean it so it can be used for research or be displayed in a museum, just like the Chasmosaur over there. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be in a real dinosaur dig? Well, here I'll show you an example of what it might be like. So, fossils are really hard to find because in most cases they're buried in the rock. So, how do we find them? In some cases, a piece of bone might be exposed, like this one. And so a paleontologist will carefully, with a brush away all the dirt, like so. Oh, look, we have a bit of a tooth there. What kind of animal do you think this came from? And as they work carefully and gently so they don't damage the bone. And slowly, the shape will be revealed. As you can see, it can take a long time just to make a little bit of progress. And this one's just pretend. Imagine what it's like when you're dealing with a real fossil. So this is a cast of an ancient rhino at Ash Falls in Nebraska. A bunch of them were buried in ash from an eruption a long ways away. And it preserved their bones so we can find them today. Can you believe that there were rhinos in Nebraska? Crazy, huh? There were also camels and cranes and all sorts of other amazing creatures that lived here. All right, see you next video. Remember that rhino skull I excavated? Well, here's the real thing. This rhino skeleton was found at Ash Falls, which is in Nebraska. The first rhino skull was discovered on accident, but since then, many paleontologists have worked there to dig up the bones of many different creatures that lived in Nebraska at that time. Most of them are rhinos. We have lots of rhinoceroses from the ancient Midwest. So here we have a giant rhinoceros, a short-legged rhino, long-limbed rhinos, so called for their long legs, and an ancestral rhinoceros. Now we come to the mammoth, which was a large ancient elephant. They used to live all over, including right here in Nebraska. One of the most famous mammoth skeletons, Archie, was discovered on accident by a bunch of chickens who were pecking at something strange in the dirt. The farmer came to check, and lo and behold, it was a mammoth. I have to back up just to get the mammoth in the camera because he's so big. This is Archie. Archie is the largest mammoth skeleton ever found in the world. Now, you might notice elephants have trunks, but these skeletons don't. That's because the trunk isn't preserved when the animal is buried. So we just have to imagine how that looked. Look at the size of those tusks. Archie's a real beauty. And now for our last exhibit, I'd like to end with my favorite dinosaur, the Protoceratops. From the skull, you can see that a Protoceratops looked a little bit like a very small Triceratops. I bet some of you have dogs that are as big as a Protoceratops. It's nothing like the size of the Chasmosaurus we visited earlier. Thank you so much for coming on this dinosaur journey with me at Morrill Hall. See y'all soon. Bye.